Before we get into the Déjà Vu effect, really could be related to the Mandela effect. I just want to thank Milky8788 for correcting me on the word Mandela. There's one L, not two L's. Made a slight spelling mistake there. But that is perfect example of Mandela effect. Assuming that it's a certain spelling because of how typically words like that will have two L's, or it seems to be that way generally, but not in this case. It was someone's name. Of course, Mandela is effect is named after Nelson Mandela. When people were misremembering the history of Nelson Mandela, of what happened to him, and certainly the déjà vu thing is again a error or misfiring, a misinterpretation how memories working. So Mandela effect and déjà vu can be interrelated. If you are having déjà vu, I think it's a good thing because it shows you're paying attention to what's going on in your brain. You're not dismissing, and you're curious enough of paying attention to what's going on outside of you. Yeah, that is causing whatever is going on in your brain. So you're paying attention. That's a good thing. So have you ever, this is an article that starts off with, have you ever walked into a place you've never been before and felt an eerie sense of familiarity? This is at simplyputpsych.co.uk. The article was written this year, March the 1st, 2025, and they go on to explain this in a fairly good way. And one of the times that sticks in my head, I was in kind of like more like a meditative state when it happened to me. I saw a déjà vu effect and feeling, and I knew then, it was like, that's what's happening with that. I knew right there and then that it's a parlor trick. It's a brain doing something that tricks. From that moment on, whenever I had déjà vu again, it was never too mysterious, but you still get, it's kind of a buzz, really. I think how I would feel it, and I'm sure others. But it does feel like you know things are working, like your brain's working on something. You're paying attention, you're mentally focused, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a side effect of how human brains can malfunction, I guess. So it's a double-edged sword then. It's good and bad, maybe. I don't know. It's an interesting experience, right? So it starts off with this: have you ever walked into a place you've never been before and felt an eerie sense of familiarity? This strange, fleeting experience where the present moment feels like it has happened before is called déjà vu. French was seen before, by the way. But what does it actually mean? Is it a glitch in the brain, a sign of a parallel universe, or something else entirely? Of course, you look at the Mandela effect, people have argued, it's some kind of parallel universe influencing ours, and we're influencing that universe, but it's nothing of the sort. It's how the pattern recognition of our brains, it works with memory, because memory isn't like a recording machine, it's a pattern recognition system, reaction. This article explores the science behind déjà vu, its psychological and neurological causes, and the theories that attempt to explain why it happens. What is déjà vu? The déjà vu is French for already seen, or seen before. I don't know, is that optional interpretation? I'm not sure. It describes a sensation in which new situation feels strangely familiar, even though you know logically that it shouldn't be. Common characteristics of déjà vu are the feeling of recognizing a moment that logically should be unfamiliar, a sense of knowing what will happen next, even though you don't, a brief fleeting experience lasting only seconds. While deja vu is harmless, it can feel profound or unsettling, making people wonder whether it has a deeper meaning. How common is deja vu? About 60 to 80% of people report experiencing deja vu at least once. It is most common between the ages of 15 and 25. 13 to 15, 13 to 16, I certainly had, I think, quite a bit of that going on. And because it happens a lot when you're a lot younger, they think it's highly likely involved in brain development, suggesting it might be linked to brain development, as it says here. Deja vu declines with age, which could mean it is related to neural flexibility, how the brain processes and stores memories. Is that memory processing again? What causes deja vu? Scientists do not fully understand deja vu, but the leading theories suggest that it happens due to memory errors. Absolutely, it seems to be in that direction. Processing delays, certainly. Again, that's what it looked like and felt like to me the one day I could see my brain tricking me. And you don't really get that. Most of us don't really get to see, oh, that's an error, or what our brains are doing, unless we're in a peaceful enough state to kind of like meditative state, going within ourselves a little bit, not too much. Because you want to be aware of your surroundings as well. Just observing the moment. And neurological misfires, I think, is involved with this. So, the glitch in the matrix theory, a delay in brain processing. One of the most widely accepted explanation is that deja vu is caused by a brief delay in brain processing, making a current moment feel like a memory. The brain processing sensory input, sight, sound, touch, all these senses, in milliseconds. Sometimes one part of the brain processes information faster than another. This tiny delay causes the brain to mistake the present moment for a memory. Yes, that certainly felt like when I saw what the brain was doing at one time. It's kind of like that. You could see it, and it's a trick. But despite it being that millisecond where I thought had the feeling, oh, this has happened before, the next millisecond would have been, light bulb moment. Now I know what deja vu is. And that happened many years ago. And is no longer that mysterious, like I've said. Think of it like a computer lagging. The brain experiences an event twice, milliseconds apart, making it feel like a repeated experience. The memory mismatch theory, false recognition, deja vu, it may be caused by a hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory. The brain searches for similar experiences when encountering something new. Yeah, if you come in at something very new, the more new something is to you, you can't find anything familiar about it at all, your brain tries to search from past experiences in order to help you interpret and understand what you're experiencing in the moment. If a new event subconsciously resembles a past experience, the brain mistakenly labels it as a memory. This explains why deja vu feels familiar, even though we can't recall the original memory. A study by Cleary et al. Found that déjà vu is more likely to occur when a new scene shares structural similarities with a forgotten past experience. Number 3, dual processing theory, a temporary brain error. Another explanation suggests that déjà vu happens when the brain mistakenly activates two memory pathways at once. Short-term memory, in brackets I got working memory, processing new information in real time. Long-term memory, episodic memory, storing past experiences. I think it was more in line with something like that. Really, it's a kind of double thing, at least for me, when it happened to me. And I've still had déjà vu past that point in time, but that one time was like, every time it happens now, any time I ever come across it now, would be, my thought process would be, it's that brain trick. Rather than, oh, how does that work? Why is that? So, if these two systems fire simultaneously, the brain interprets the present moment as a memory leading to déjà vu. So, number 4, the parallel universe hypothesis, a mind-bending idea. While there is no scientific evidence, some people believe déjà vu is a glimpse into parallel realities. This theory suggests that déjà vu happens when we briefly tap into an alternative version of ourselves, one that has already lived in the moment. What comes to mind is that scene from The Matrix, and Neo goes, oh, déjà vu. He sees a cat pass by in a hallway, and there's like a jump, and the cat carries on, walks by exactly the same way, does the same thing all over again. But, that's fiction, of course. Some physicists studying the multiverse theory speculate that if multiple realities exist, it's possible that déjà vu is a brief overlap between timelines. Of course, they're not brain experts, they're physicists. But, I think there might be something to multiple universe theory and consciousness. We're tuned in to this reality, this experience, this universe. But if you look at quantum physics, it's like, there's a lot there that could say something is affecting this conclusion of whether true or not, or the suspicion that perhaps this reality is being experiencing influence from another, and while it does, this universe, this reality influences that reality. They're both interacting. But that's a whole other video, that's a whole other something else, right? While fascinating, this idea remains in the realm of science fiction, not a proven neuroscience. Does déjà vu have a deeper meaning? Many people wonder if déjà vu is a spiritual sign. Well, you don't have to be spiritual to have a spiritual experience, I think. You can have an experience that seems like it feels spiritual. And this is why you should trust explanation of experience, but not necessarily trust an interpretation of the experience. So when people talk about experiences, listen to them, and of course, don't be overly trusting of people. People lie anyway. Just the whole thing where on my other channel I've done videos about studying people, body language, what they're saying, how they're saying it, tone of voice, all these tics. That's important, and more of that will actually come through this channel now, in a hopefully a more polished manner, a little bit more better quality, I guess, of approach. Well, there is no scientific. I read that bit. Um, did I read that bit? I know. Many people wonder if the spiritual sign, a warning, or evidence of past lives. While science attributes deja vu to brain function, some alternative interpretations include intuition or psychic ability, a subconscious awareness of what's about to happen, past life memory, deja vu as evidence of reincarnation, a checkpoint in life, a sign that you're on the right path. Now that last one, I couldn't, it's fairly easy, I think, to interpret that as when you say a sign you're on the right path. Well, you'd be on the right path if you're paying attention to what's going on inside you and outside of you, and you're paying attention enough to be able to think critically about things. So, yeah, you'd be on the right path if you are involved in what's going on in your life rather than just letting it happen to you. And I find that people are either one or the other. It doesn't seem like many people are in between, but obviously they're out there, where I think we need to learn that life happens to us and we happen to life, which changes our closest things and tributes around us with people, how they interact with us, and so on. And, things like I've changed rooms. If you look at past videos, I was in a different room. So that's changed in my life. The experience of being in this room is something that happens to me. The experience of what's happening to me now in this room is because I happened to the room. This room was very different until I got hold of it and ordered different things and ordered the products, the wallpaper, the flooring, and many other things. The sofa behind, which is lovely and comfortable. The experience I have. This is where we need to realize there's a feedback loop between this. Don't just lie down and we got no control over your life. It just happens to you. You happen to life and life happens to you. Feedback loop. Everything, I think, I tend to see everything as a feedback loop because it just is. There's a lot we don't have control over, but there's a lot we do as well. We're just paying attention and awareness of those things. And if you are having a deja vu moment, it's probably a good thing because you're paying attention. You're in life rather than being just zombified, just too switched off. Working in retail, it's very evident to me that some people, their self-awareness of the surroundings are too blinkered, are too shut down until they see somebody and they're asking them. Like, I get people come in and go, "Where's your printing paper?" And it's right in front of them. Right in front of the tills that are right by the door. And they come and they look at me and ask immediately. And I go, there. So I normally say, for future reference, it's always at the front of the tills. If it's not there, then it's sold out. It's one of the products that does sell a lot, though. It's things like that, though. Look first before you ask. It's a till. It's a sale point. It's not an information desk. Although we're there to help people with information, of course. But generally, switch everything off until, get somebody else to think for you. And that's really, those people probably don't have much deja vu going on at all. And again, though, it means if you're experiencing it, you're paying attention to what's going on outside of you and inside of you. That's a good thing, but at the same time, it is a error. It's a result of malfunction, basically, in the brain. So not in a very serious way. It's just something that the brain does. It's not. It happens to us all, and it's not like a health issue. It's just if you're paying attention, you're going to get it. And if you're paying attention, you're keeping your brain neuroplasticity, its adaptability, alive. Yeah, thinking things through, trying to work things out, giving yourself a challenge mentally, and then once you solve it, you get the feeling of, oh, I did it, I worked that out. So look after the body and the brain. There's a lot of emphasis these days on physical health, but nutrition, the brain needs proper nutrition as well as the body. Perhaps a separate video on that. So there's that, a checkpoint in life, you're paying attention. Déjà vu and the brain, neurological links. Some neurological conditions cause déjà vu, such as, now this is where there could be something wrong. Epileptics can experience it a lot prior to seizures, because a lot of epilepsy is misfiring of a lot of the brain, not just memory. It's misfiring in ways that it's not prioritizing how the neurons are supposed to be firing in a more coherent manner. So temporal lobe epilepsy, people with epilepsy often experience intense déjà vu before seizures. Anxiety and stress, emotional states can trigger déjà vu episodes. If you're very stressed, your alertness might peak up on what's going on around you. Sometimes it can shut things down and you're only alert to a narrow set of information, or what's right in front of you, is where people can be too close to the problem to see the bigger picture. But you know, either way, where it's just that one thing or others, you're super focused, and again, you're paying attention, right? Different forms of attention. It might look like it's not enough attention when somebody's trying to tell you, no, calm down, it's okay, it's fixed, or whatever you're worried about. But they're not seeing that because they're too close to one aspect of what's going on. Yeah. So that stress, anxiety could cause this. Sleep deprivation. Exhaustion can cause the brain to process memories incorrectly, increasing déjà vu experiences. This suggests that déjà vu is linked to how the brain organizes memory and perception rather than being supernatural. Simply put, déjà vu is likely to be a brief brain processing error where the present moment is mistakenly classified as a memory, while it may feel mystical or even prophetic. Research suggests that is simply an illusion created by the brain's memory and perception systems, though the exact cause remains a mystery. One thing is clear: déjà vu reveals just how complex and fascinating human consciousness truly is. That last sentence, consciousness, they haven't found yet. I don't think they have. Maybe they got some idea, but you know, they found what parts of the brain I think might be somehow responsible for consciousness, but how you know. So they really haven't found consciousness per se. Consciousness, as a metaphor, I've talked about as like the eye of the storm, and the information and the experiences and all that is what's going around the eye of the storm. We experience ourselves, we experience our thoughts, we play with the content, but the consciousness, well, we don't know too much about it. We know more about the brain processing information that can then process something that arise at the surface, away from the unconscious to the subconscious to the conscious. And when you experience this thing, it happens to us, and it happens to consciousness. Consciousness itself might be far more simple than the brain. And that sounds like an oxymoron. It's like, oh, isn't the brain creating? We don't think there's not necessarily any proof that it's the brain creating this. Who was it? Erwin Schrödinger, the guy who created this Schrödinger's cat theory, pointing out how absurd some of the interpretations on quantum mechanics was, or quantum theory. He said there's only one mind here, and we're all experiencing it subjectively. I'm going to look up that just before we end the video. And no, he didn't put a cat in a box with poison. That was an idea that he presented. What if you did this? And it was to point out some absurdities from problems with that. So, was it Erwin or Erman? Schrödinger. One mind. Let's have a look. There's only one mind in the universe. Doesn't mean it is that way. Theoretical. It's just something. This Austrian physicist Erwin Schrödinger is known for the phrase, "The total number of minds in the universe is one. In fact, consciousness is a singularity phasing within all beings." Apparently, that's what he said. I wonder if the Mandela effect is at play there. He might have said it in a very different way, perhaps. Let's try that. Let's have a look. Let's see. There's a link there that talks about that. It appears that this quote was fabricated and misattributed to Schrödinger in May of 2016. It is impressive how widely this attribution has spread first across the internet and then to a number of books. Okay. But it does not seem to date back any further than that. If the listed date, or did he say it or not? Is the date wrong when he said it? Probably fabricate. If the listed date on this blog post is accurate, it is probably the original source of the fabricated quote. Let's have a look. Number of minds in the universe. The thought of for today to contemplate. This opens up to a lot more information. Maybe he did say it or didn't. It is very profound thing to say, so I wonder where it came from, if it did come from them or if it didn't. It's certainly a profound thing to say, right? Thanks for watching anyway, and I look forward to doing another video soon. I'm going to look that up shortly and find out if perhaps it was somebody else who said that, who maybe they weren't even into theoretical physics or quantum mechanics or anything, called quantum theory, regardless, because it was Erwin Schrödinger at that point. He had problems with the quantum theory, and that's where Schrödinger's cat comes from. The cat is both in two states, dead and alive, until it's observed in this box with poison and of course that's absurd, and it was pointing out how absurd some of the theories around the observer effect seem to be clashing with conventional classical physics. So cheers anyway, bye, take care.